Alright, so I have healed up at Swellows, sold off a whole bunch of stuff in our inventory, and made my way back to Gothic here. I think the next step for us is to actually head over to the ice planet of Dezoris, specifically to the town of Skure, and from there we can actually dabble in a whole bunch of really interesting endeavors there. The most important thing that I'm after right now is some weapon upgrades for Noah and Myau specifically. So we'll head on up to Skure, which looks slightly whiter than our planet, but you can see here it's full of ice and snow. Isn't that fun? So what we're going to do now is head on in here and you'll see, oh look, there's only one bubble, but the town's actually underground. So we have to travel through this bad guy filled hallway in order to get there. It's not too long, but we'll be there shortly, and then we can see all of the wonderful items that will be at our disposal. And Noah and Myau definitely need some upgrades, so I'm pretty excited about that. So we'll have a chat with this guy here. Welcome to Skure on Dezoris. It's freezing outside, isn't it? Understatement of the year, friend. Oh no, I didn't want to talk to you again. How awkward. Cool. Well, we've already heard what he has to say, apparently. For a third time. Holy jeez. He must be thinking, these people are so strange. Okay, an armory. I would love to buy some things, thanks so much. Okay, so we definitely want all of these things. The wand for Noah, the laser gun for Odin, and the glove for Myau. And thank goodness we have enough money for that. That's wonderful. Oops, I always say I want more things when I don't really. So what I'm going to do now is just equip those things. And there's going to be a pretty noticeable increase in offense and defense for our characters. So, the glove, especially for Myau, really increases his defense. So we're definitely grateful to have that. The laser gun will give Odin the ability to take off 20 HP from multiple enemies each turn, but it has the most annoying sound in the whole world. And you'll see what I mean in the next battle that we get into. Cool. Well, in the meantime, we should probably finish exploring this town and see what we've got here. First food shop has our usual fare. Maybe we can get a couple of burgers. Just for fun. I don't want to buy any more, thank you. And then this must be a second-hand shop. Yep, there we go. So let's see what they have. Sometimes they have different things. Magic hats and spears I don't think we need, and we definitely don't need any flashlights. But what we should probably do is maybe sell off some of our items that we just took off of our characters. So let's have a peek and see. Yeah, wood cane, 12 Masitas, poor Noah. And then we'll also sell the heat gun. That we don't need anymore. Okay, no thank you. Okay, so before I forget, we should probably save our game as well. Select number 4 here. Great. So let's finish exploring this town. There's lots of people here. It's quite big, so we'll have to see what everybody has to say. There are places in the mountains where the ice is soft and impassable to those on foot. That reminds me, we're going to have a huge purchase to make shortly. Dezoris is a world of ice. Yes, ma'am. It sure is. The Altiplano Plateau is at the top of the ice mountain. That's great. We will track that down shortly-ish. Not really soon, but in due time. Arms made of Laconia conceal holy power. Lassic fears this power and has been running and hiding in different places in the planets of the Algol system. Alright, so that's a good sign, because we've got Laconia on our side, it would seem. The dead Guaron morgue have been called back to life. What fear? Doesn't seem to make much sense, but he's saying essentially there's a place filled with undead that we're going to have to go into eventually. An eclipse occurs on this planet once every 100 years. A torch lit during an eclipse is called an eclipse torch and is regarded as holy by the Dezorians. And that'll come into play later as well. We'll talk about that in a bit, I suppose. I don't know a lot about this planet, but word has it that there's a town of native Dezorians in the far reaches of the mountains, which is the place we are going to head off to next. Isn't that fun? Most emigrants from Palma settle here. It's good to know that Skure is an excellent location for retirement. If you really hope to kill Lassic, you had best find a sword, axe, shield, and armor made of Laconia. Such weapons are strongest. I pray for your safety. Well, that's very kind of that gentleman. Alright, so that's the hospital. The other thing I want to do is pop into this church. And this is because we are headed on a very long endeavor up a mountain. And if we really need to, we want to be able to get back here in a timely fashion rather than having to fight our way out. But that essentially is Skure, so like I said, we've got some really great upgrades. So we're going to head back out and start finding our way up the mountain. It's convenient that there are werebats here as well, because the money that we're going to need to make in the next little while is actually quite astronomical. It's actually close to, I think it's 15,000 Meseta, and we need to rake in all that cash in order to buy, you guessed it, another vehicle. The vehicle itself is going to be really useful to us. It's the ice digger, and that lady in Skure was just talking about how there are areas of the mountains that are soft, and we essentially need to use the ice digger to get through that area. So, it's a necessary purchase, but good lord is it ever a lot of grinding for Mesetas. Hopefully we run into a lot of pretty serious fights on the way so that we can level up and also make a lot of money pretty quickly. These enemies are evil heads, and they look just like the native Dezorians that we're headed up to see shortly. So it's kind of weird that they're called evil heads, maybe because they're liars. We'll also chat with some folks in a place called Twintown that accuse other people in their neighboring town of being liars, and they all look the same, so it's kind of hard to differentiate who's telling the truth and who's really who. That's not what I wanted to do, but thanks, Hapsby. Alright, so we're gonna walk off this place like we usually would, and here we go. So I am going to head over to the right here, and we're going to enter our first cave. The caves on Dezoris in general are filled with pretty terrible monsters. I would say, like, more terrible than ones that you would usually expect to run into in other places. But, I mean, they're definitely manageable at the level that we're at. So I'm not too worried, especially with all this new armor and weapons that we just got. So we're going to start with this one. And what's great about these, apart from their wonderful color scheme, is that there's not a lot of branching pathways to kind of get lost in. They're fairly straightforward, so on the bright side, at the very least, we can kind of figure out where we need to go in a quick kind of way. There's definitely not as much wandering in these areas. Actually, when in doubt in these places, you should always take the first path to the right. That's just the rule that I've learned. And I've been in these so often, like heading back up and down the mountain, like that's the way out, but we're gonna go this way. I think there's a chest over here. The way out is actually pretty easy to find for me at this point. Oh, it's empty. You'd think if I was so familiar that I would have remembered that that was empty and that I would become harpooned. Nobody's in terrible shape. We will just keep going. And I wish that we were getting some more money-making enemies here. I'm a little worried about the amount of money that we're going to have to make, considering we just spent out our entire bunch of savings. This game is just grind, grind, grind. It's not so bad though. I've played games that are way worse on the grinding scale. Like Dragon Warrior. I know I bring that game up a lot, and don't get me wrong, I really do enjoy it, but holy jeez, was that ever a lot of grinding. I think I've started that game twice in my life and I've never finished it because there's just so much grinding to do. Good. Thank you, chest. We definitely need that money. Alright. So another thing too is sometimes after you get out of a cave, there will be multiple different caves that you can kind of head into. And I'm going to ignore some of the other caves on our way up because what I want to do for now is get up to Twintown at the top of the mountain. And there's some other caves that we're going to have to venture into, and other ones that we can't even access until we find the ice digger. So we're going to continue on our way here and have a little look-see. So these are some of the really difficult enemies. We've been fighting undead practically this entire game, but the zombies I think are pretty close to the top of this particular line of enemies, and they're a little ruthless. When we get to the Guaron Morgue later, it's just packed with zombies. It's unreal how many of them there are. But we'll do our best to end them so that we can continue upwards and onwards to the top of the mountain. Okay. This cave I'm a little less familiar with. And if I find an exit, I think I'll just leave. There's not a ton of stuff in these places that's really worth kind of sticking around for. So, we'll just see. We'll wander till we can find a door, and then we'll just keep on heading up the mountain here. Oh, dead end. Alright, and we'll turn around and we'll try one of those other turns that we could have taken. I think there's one coming up on the right here. Yeah, there we go. Where do you go, friend? Out, I hope. Okay, yep, there we go. Okay, so this I think is one of the places where you can actually take a different cave. Like there's two caves to choose from. And I guess if you're ever playing this game yourself for the first time, you just always pop into the cave that's closest to you. That's usually the best way to go about it. Gosh, that animation is neat. It's like a terrible claw at the claw game, but with a big nasty head attached. Oh, they made us some good money here. Ooh, look at this, more of them. Really gotta make sure that I'm keeping an eye on everybody's MP. These guys in a way kind of look like there's a big face hugger stuck on a big blob of head. Oh, stop harpooning my party. How's everybody doing here? Who's getting harpooned? I think Odin might have gotten harpooned. I can't quite tell. But we'll cure him up just to be safe. We'll also cure Odin, or sorry, Noah as well. Alright, in here we go. We can keep going to the left. Like I was saying, there's another cave out that way, but we don't want to go that way just yet. Eventually, though. If I'm not mistaken, this should be a cave that's filled with white dragons. Oh, explosion! For God's sake. Oh, you think by now I would know. Don't open any chests. There's nothing worth it. Alright. So white dragons are fairly difficult. You can see they have a high HP. So what we're going to do here is use Noah's magic. Oops, we're going to... Oh, okay, I guess we'll run away. That was a... Oh, okay, we got another chance now. So we'll just attack with everybody, and then we're going to talk to them with Noah's telepathy spell. White dragon answers, the mad doctor in Abion has a Laconian pot. Well, there we go. That's something that we already knew, but thanks anyways. What I want to know is where the dragon gossip line is. I want to get in on that without having to chat with real dragons. Okay, and this is again, I think, another spot where we could go to the left there, but we're going to head to the right instead. That Laconian sword action is just tremendous. Like, Alice is friggin' stacked. She is a force to be reckoned with at this point in the game. And it's pretty awesome. We've only got a couple more things to collect for her. I think she only gets one more upgrade. But yeah, after we go to Twintown and get the ice digger, we're gonna come back and explore this mountain a little bit more. Isn't it nice to see an easy enemy? I kinda like it. The encounter rate here is pretty intense though. And speaking of encounter rate, if you do head off to the left, always to the left it seems of these caves, and start peeking around too much, the enemies, not only is the encounter rate higher it seems, but the enemies are ridiculously hard. Like, you run into some of the hardest enemies of the game on this place, on this particular mountain. Okay, we're gonna try not to die in this fight. I'm a little worried about it, because our HPs are all quite low. Wow, that was a big hit on Alice. We need to get her some better defense. I think there was like a very expensive set of, was it armor? A shield? Probably armor somewhere. I think it was in Paseo maybe? The diamond armor? We'll have to maybe try to grab that for her at some point. Oh good lord, please don't kill her. You're gonna get it, Battalion. Yeah, I think she's one of the only people whose, I guess, armor we haven't upgraded in forever. Everybody could use a little bit of healing, but I'm going to try to conserve my MP. We're not too far out from the end to getting to Twintown. I just really don't want to waste all my MP just in case. I'm the type of person, and I'm sure I've mentioned this before, who will literally hoard every single good item, including MP, as long as I possibly can. Like, at the end of a Final Fantasy game, I'll be the person who has like 20 elixirs in my inventory, and even in the final boss fight, I won't be using them. I'll just finish the game with them all, which is silly. I always feel like there's always a better place I could be using them, so I don't want to waste them. That might sound silly, but it is what it is. A little hoarding never hurt anybody, especially when it comes to really beneficial weaponry and defense and offensive items in general. There's so many undead in here, you'd think we were in the morgue already. That's a place we're gonna head to soon enough. That's a confusing place too. I'm gonna see if I can wing it without a map. The battalions definitely look like they got put through a really, really bad death, the way that they look. Maybe they should just not wear red shirts. Like, they should have a chat with their battalion party that says, no red shirts allowed, we all look too sick and bloody and miserable. Maybe they did already have that discussion, but people just didn't get the memo. Who could possibly say for sure? I don't think we'll ever really know. Oh, great. Love me a dead end. We're definitely gonna have to do a little bit of healing soon, if we can't find our way out of here. I do really love the color scheme in this particular area, though. This nice teal kind of beautiful color is nice to look at. And right now, as I'm listening to this regular old cave music, I'm very much missing that tower music that we were privileged to hear for so long in the Laconian Tower. The Laconian Sword Tower, I should say. Oh, there we go. Okay, here we go. This is Twintown, so we've made it to the very, very end here. And as usual, again, people are living underground, so we're gonna have to go for a little stroll here. And you'll notice in this particular hallway that there are lots of enemies that do give a lot of masitas. So if we're gonna have to grind a little while to get that ice digger, this is gonna be the place to do it. These evil heads are pretty good for cash. So we might just have to go on a bit of a murder spree in order to get what we need. But yeah, it's so funny because these guys are just evil heads, and then you go into town here and everybody looks just like this. It's like, why did they call them evil heads? Why didn't they just call them like angry Dezorians or something like that? Nope, evil heads. Along with duty heads and poo-poo heads and... yeah, there's lots of different heads in this game. I'm trying to think, there's another enemy that we fought that was something head, and I can't think of what it is right now. It'll come to me. Probably at 2 a.m. tonight, while I'm in bed, and I'll wake up and say, oh, right, that's the one. Yeah. These guys are annoying because they heal themselves. So you want to get rid of them as fast as possible. I like how that guy healed himself. Take that, blue slimes. You don't deserve to live. Okay, so Twintown is literally two towns that live right beside one another. I'm gonna start on the left here for fun. We're just gonna go and have a chat with all these people. See? Evil heads, but in different shirts. Go figure. The knee-boring village, I love spelling mistakes, are all liars. Don't listen to them. Remember I was saying that they accuse one another of being liars? That's right. I wasn't kidding. Do you know what an arrow prism is? No. It lets you see another world. That's an important item as well that we haven't gotten yet. We of this town hate Palmans. I don't know what accent that was, and please don't ask. Lerma trees grow the lerma berries. Those berries are our most important food, but it shrivels up after a few moments unless it is put in a Laconian pot. Well, it's a good thing we have a Laconian pot. We just have to find the berries now. To the west of the Corona Tower is the Dezoris cave. Our friends are in there. Give them our best, okay? How about no? If you want to say hi to somebody, you go do it yourself. The Corona Tower stands on the far side of the mountain to the north of this village. I never have the same accent twice. Okay, so lots of good information. Corona Tower, Arrow Prism. We'll head over to this side now. The neighboring village are all liars. Don't listen to them. Well, who can I trust? You guys are accusing one another of being liars. This town welcomes all Palmans. Yes, indeed we do. Do you really? If I had a beard, I'd stroke that right now. If you use a crystal in front of a lerma tree, it will become, yes, a lerma nut indeed. Okay, so crystal plus lerma tree equals lerma nut. Lerma berries are blue. Lerma nuts are used in dyes. Yes, they are indeed. Probably irrelevant to our cause. You can warp from the 10th level of the dungeon under Dezoris. Yes. Okay. What do you have to say, Last House? There is a spring of life in the Corona Tower. There is, yes. I don't really believe you. Because I've been in there, and it sucks. in my stream Let's Play, of course. Okay, we're ignoring the church, because we don't want to go in there, but I do want to see what these shops have for sale. Let's see what you have for sale. Oh, look, the ice digger. And look how little money we have. Crap. Okay, so we need another 6,000 masitas. That sucks. But we're going to have to go do some grinding. Could try to buy it, but I don't think they'll let it go for half price. Okay, what do you have? Okay, a bunch of things that we don't need for the moment, so I'm just going to exit there. Alright, so the only thing that we can really do for the time being is go and do a little bit of grinding until we get up to those 12,000 Masitas, so that we can buy the ice digger. And again, that's just going to allow us to thoroughly explore this mountain and to get to all the places that we need to go, because this place has a whole bunch of different stuff that we need to collect in order to be able to finish the game. So what I'm going to do is head back into this little cubby hole over here and fight some fights to get us our 12,000 Masitas. So I will be back in a bit.